For centuries, the ninja existed as a phantom force in feudal Japan. While the samurai trained for honorable combat in the daylight, the shinobi studied the human body as a biological machine that could be systematically dismantled in the dark. They did not rely on brute strength or trading punches. They mastered Koshi Jutsu, the dark, forbidden art of nerve and muscle destruction. By targeting the microscopic electrical wiring that connects the human body to the brain, they discovered how to pull the plug on human consciousness. These were not magic tricks. They were brutal, calculated strikes against the body's fragile electrical grid. Today, we are opening the sealed, forbidden scrolls to reveal the exact anatomical secrets of the Shadow Warriors. These are the 15-band ninjutsu nerve strikes that instantly turn off the brain. 1. The Kasumi Strike. Hidden directly beneath the temporal bone on the side of the skull lies the middle meningeal artery and the highly sensitive trigeminal nerve. The ninja weaponized this thin anatomical window. By delivering a concentrated, snapping ridge hand strike to the Kasumi point, they created a devastating hydrostatic shockwave. The trigeminal nerve violently overloads, sending a blinding flash of pain directly into the brainstem. This electrical overload forces the body's central nervous system to perform an emergency reboot, dropping an armored samurai to the floor in a state of sudden, involuntary unconsciousness. 2. The Doco Pressure. Tucked perfectly beneath the earlobe is a delicate cluster of cranial nerves wrapping around the mastoid bone. In traditional ninjutsu, striking the Doco point with a reinforced, protruding thumb joint causes immediate, catastrophic pain. This strike physically disrupts the brain's equilibrium, flooding the central nervous system with localized trauma. Because the strike bypasses thick muscle and impacts directly against the skull, the victim experiences instant, severe vertigo. The brain loses its spatial mapping, resulting in a total loss of motor control and immediate collapse. 3. The UKO Strike. The human neck houses the carotid sinus, an essential biological baroreceptor that regulates blood pressure. Ninja assassins targeted this vulnerability by delivering a sharp, precise strike to the side of the neck using the hardened edge of the hand. This impact forces the brain into a state of absolute panic. The sudden pressure spike tricks the nervous system into rapidly dropping the victim's blood pressure to 0 to prevent a stroke. The result is an instantaneous, terrifying blackout, completely shutting off the brain's oxygen supply without spilling a single drop of blood. 4. The Murasame. Exactly where the skull meets the top of the cervical spine lies the medulla oblongata, the absolute control center for breathing and heart rate. A strike to the Murasame point was highly illegal in modern dojos and considered a strictly lethal assassination tool. A downward hammer fist to the base of the neck violently disrupts the vital electrical signals traveling from the brain down the spinal cord. A moderate strike causes extreme dizziness and temporary paralysis, while a full-force strike turns off the respiratory system entirely, causing the brain to suffocate. 5. The Asagasumi. The mental nerve exits the skull right at the very tip of the jawline. A shinobi striking the Asagasumi point utilized a violent, upward-driving palm heel directly to the chin. This does not just snap the head backward. It violently pinches the mental nerve while simultaneously rattling the inner ear fluid. The combination of intense nerve trauma and sudden vestibular disruption completely destroys the brain's sense of balance. The reticular activating system is scrambled, and the body is instantly turned off, collapsing like a puppet with its strings abruptly cut. 6. The Yubi Hari. The eyes are not just organs of sight. They are direct extensions of the human brain. The ninja utilized a specialized whipping strike across the orbital bone, intentionally traumatizing the optic and trigeminal nerves. This triggers the oculocardiac reflex, an ancient, hardwired survival loop. The moment the nerve is violently shocked, it sends a distress signal through the vagus nerve directly to the heart, forcing the pulse rate to drop massively. The brain is starved of blood for a crucial second, causing vision to white out and motor skills to freeze completely. 7. The Gingu. Located perfectly in the philtrum, the small groove between the upper lip and the nose is a nerve center that connects directly to the brain's pain processing cortex. A driving, single-knuckle strike to the Gingu point sends an explosive, blinding spike of electricity upward into the frontal lobe. The brain becomes so overwhelmed by the sudden, massive influx of agonizing data that it temporarily halts all other bodily functions. The opponent's eyes water uncontrollably, their knees buckle, and their aggressive forward momentum is instantly deleted. 8. The Sui Jetsu. Right below the sternum sits a dense, entirely unprotected web of nerves known as the solar plexus. A shinobi striking the Sui Jetsu wasn't trying to break ribs, they were aiming to short-circuit the brain's connection to the lungs. By driving a hardened fist deep into this nerve cluster at an upward angle, the vagus nerve is severely traumatized. The brain frantically sends signals to inhale, but the diaphragm locks rigidly in place. The mind shifts instantly from combat to pure, suffocating panic, paralyzing the attacker completely. 9. The Driumon. Just behind the collarbone sits a hollow depression guarding the brachial plexus and the phrenic nerve. Ninja would drive a rigid, spear hand thrust straight downward into this gap. Puncturing the Driumon severely pinches the nerve bundle against the skeletal structure. The immediate biological response is a sickening, deadening sensation that completely turns off the entire arm. The brain loses its neurological map of the limb, rendering a sword-wielding opponent completely helpless and unable to defend their vital organs. 10. The Toki. A true shinobi understood that overloading the brain with pain from the lower extremities was the fastest way to break an opponent's guard. The top of the foot contains the deep peroneal nerve, resting just above brittle bone. By stomping directly onto the Toki point with the hardened heel of a wooden sandal, the nerve is pinned and crushed. The agonizing signal travels straight up the spinal cord, overwhelming the brain's processing power and causing the leg to completely give out in a state of temporary, localized paralysis. 11. The Hoshigetsu. The hinge of the human jaw is a complex mechanical joint layered with highly sensitive facial nerves. A targeted, twisting strike to the Hoshigetsu point dislocates the temporomandibular joint while simultaneously crushing the surrounding nerve tissue. The brain registers this catastrophic facial trauma by instantly flooding the system with endorphins and shock. The opponent's vision blurs, their balance fails, and the sheer proximity of the trauma to the brainstem guarantees an immediate, disorienting system crash.